All right, good afternoon. This is my persuasive speech from my Speech 100 class. I'm Naeem Stanley. We're going to go ahead and get started here. All right, my speech today is going to be on global warming, a Save the Planet. Imagine this, Tower 1, New York City. Imagine if it's underwater. All right, now that I got you guys' attention, we're going to go ahead and start talking about global warming. Next slide. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Earth is getting warmer. We're going to talk about the temperature of the Earth, how it's getting to be really, really warm in the past few years. Talk a little bit about the rise in sea levels. We're going to talk a little bit about the greenhouse effects. I'm going to talk a little bit about hitting home, what's happening to some of the places you live at. Montana's Glacier National Park is one of them, and the beaches along the eastern seaboard where I live at. And I'll teach you a little bit about how saving the planet, some things that you can do to correct global warming. Next slide. All right, the Earth's temperature. It's getting warmer. The Earth's temperature has risen 1.4 degrees around the world since 1880. In the 20th century, the last 2 decades, it's been the hottest in 400 years. The hottest temperatures on record was 1997, 98, 2001, 2002, and 2003. So as you can see, the temperature is getting really, really warm. It's got to be a reason for that. Next slide. So, the sea levels are starting to rise. What happens is, the polar caps, you get ice, snow in the wintertime. What happens in the summertime, it melts it down. Well, in the summertime, the summers are longer now, and in the wintertime, you can't get enough snow back up to keep it cold up there. So the water keeps rising. And if we keep on that same path, this is what will happen to you. Basically, everybody's going to be underwater. Next slide. All right. 1950 to 1979 and 1980 to 2009. Just in the Northeast alone, the sea levels have rose 3 to 4 times greater than the global average. The large ice formations, which I already talked about, the polar caps, naturally melt back a bit each summer due to the warmer summers, but the ice is melting so fast that the snow can't replace it. Next slide. So I've talked to you a little bit about that. Now we're going to talk about a little bit about global warming. Again, talking a little bit about the greenhouse effects, and talking a little bit more about the rise in oceans. The greenhouse effects. The greenhouse effect was a little bit hard for me to understand exactly what it is, but basically what it is the sun puts down energy into the earth, and the earth traps it down and can't reflect back off into outer space. So that increases the core temperature of the earth, and it heats itself up. By the earth heating itself up, it makes everything warmer around us, and then you have the greenhouse effect. Next slide. It also increased deadly gases to the earth's temperature, and that's what leading to the rise in water levels. In the last few years, scientific research and knowledge in climate, the change has progressed substantially, confirming that the current warming of the Earth's climate is very likely due to human activities, such as burning fossil fuels. So that's one of the things that's leading to the increased temperature of the Earth. Next slide. All right, I just talked to you a little bit about the greenhouse effect, the rising in the ocean. Now we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to start to hit it home for you. We're going to talk about the United States and how it's getting a facelift. We're going to talk a little bit about Montana's Glacier National Park, and we're going to talk a little bit about the beaches along where I grew up. Next slide. All right, the United States is getting a facelift. Montana's Glacier National Park had 27 glaciers compared to 150 in 1910. So they had 27 glaciers now, but in 1910 they had 150. So as you see, the glaciers are melting due to global warming. In the northern hemisphere, thaws also come a week earlier in the spring and freezes begin a week later. So as you can see the trend there, it's already starting to change. The sea levels are rising 3 to 4 millimeters per year. That's 12 to 16 inches per century along the Maryland coast. Now, I grew up on the Maryland coast where I'm from in Ocean City. So this is what they're talking about. On this average of 12 to 16 inches per century that they're going. So our relatives down the road, if we don't change what we do, they're going to be underwater. So we got to change what we do. We got to get the temperature back down to earth so our offspring can have the same lifestyle that we live today. Now that I've talked a little bit about the landscape of the United States, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can save the planet and some things that you can do, and talk about your carbon footprint. All right, next slide. All right, save the planet. With the problem as large as global warming, it seems impossible for one little person to make a difference, but don't be fooled. The end of global warming, how to save the earth in 2 easy steps. I'm going to tell you how to save the earth just in 2 steps. Next slide. Step one is you got to go green. Instead of driving your car everywhere, take the bus. Better yet, you can even ride a bike. Consider more efficient fuel, such as hybrid cars. With each gallon of gas, you burn 20 pounds of CO2 are released into the air. Buy energy-saving appliances and use less energy overall. So it's a lot of energy-saver appliances out there. Wash machine, dryers, whatever you can do, every little bit helps. Next slide. All right, how do you reduce your carbon footprint? That's a good question. A lot of people ask me that. Now I'm going to teach you. You can buy organic and local produce. It saves the environment. Ditch the bottled waters. Plastic is very harmful to the environment. They got you can get the cups, the refillable cups with the filters on your tap on your water. Get rid of bottled water. Plus they're expensive. You can use cold water instead of warm water. Unplug it. If you don't need it at home, every little thing burns energy. Unplug it. Have the family over more. Larger people in the house. Everybody doesn't need to be individually cooking at your houses. You can all cook at one house. The 3 R's. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. That's the best advice I can give you on reducing your footprint. Alright, I provided you an insight on global warming today. I've discussed the increase in temperatures. I've also discussed the rise in the oceans and the greenhouse effect. Now, I hope that this speech has brought you some better awareness about global warming and the effects around the world. This concludes my speech. Are there any questions?
Can I go back to work?
What question you got?
Where did you grow up in Maryland?
I grew up in Ocean City, Maryland, down along the Eastern Shore. Any other questions?
What made you want to do a speech on global warming?
Well, I'm a big environment nut, so I try to, every little thing that I do, I try to help out the next person. So I thought global warming was a good way I can make you 4 people today a little bit aware about something that you do every day and some things that you could change. So I hope it can help you with that. All right, thank you.